Welcome to another episode of the Brand X Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, John. Alongside me, Deuce.
Come stop, bitches.
Wait a minute. Was your microphone up?
Should be.
Okay, your screaming sound effect actually muted your mic, kind of, sort of.
That's what I was going for.
Oh, well, mission accomplished. And the Jimmy? No, Jimmy. He blew us off.
His headphones are just
hanging there mocking us.
Forlornly just hanging there.
I said to him, what's going on? He goes, I have to take an online test. I'm like, I wonder what that is. Is it a test to see if he can actually get online? Or is there a test that he has to take online for something else?
Probably.
First one.
Maybe the latter, I would think.
No, he's not very good at the internet, as you can tell.
Yeah, but maybe it's something to do with his...
Do you think maybe he's boycotting us because we haven't given him anything to look at? Like, you have a laptop and I have a computer.
No, he could have a laptop too if he goes out and buys one like I had. If I didn't buy this, I wouldn't have anything to look at either.
That is true. You are committed. You are committed to the craft.
I will be committed.
Or you will be committed.
Right.
Yeah, and you don't mess around. Like, you don't go out and buy like a Chromebook or anything like that. You go out and buy a MacBook Pro.
Yeah,
you lay down the money.
Go big or go home.
That's right. That's what I like about you. So I saw your little rant today on Facebook about property tax.
Well, that's in the town that I live in.
Yes, and that sounds like they're trying to jack up the tax again.
Yeah, I don't know. I that was sent to me and by my brother-in-law, by a friend of his. So I don't know if it's valid or not. Okay. But they did this to us a couple of years ago. They raped us for 12%, and now they're looking for another rate.
All right, so I have a question for you.
All right.
Would you go to a place and pay money if there was a white tax? In other words, you had to pay more because you were white than anybody else of color.
Well, that's a hypothetical, so it's just,
no.
I don't want to deal in hypotheticals.
That is not a hypothetical. I actually heard that today. Two friends of mine were talking. It was, and again, I'm not going to give specifics.
In this country?
Well, let me finish my story because I don't know I don't know where it's from. So it's an online thing. Apparently, it was a reading. Reading of what? I have no idea.
Well, reading of a bill, maybe.
No. Like reading of tea leaves or reading of a spiritual thing or I don't know. So the one person said, I want to get a reading from this person. And I found out that because, I'm white, it's like $400.
Mm-hmm.
Where if anybody else would get a reading of color, the reading would be $200. So she had to pay $200 more because she was white.
Where did this happen? Well, that's illegal.
I can't. Is it illegal?
Sure, because turn it about.
What's that?
Turn it about. Let's say you were going to charge somebody.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah. So
but apparently, people are getting away with this.
They won't get along with because I think that's in direct violation of the 14th Amendment.
Is it?
Well, that's one of the reasons why the 14th Amendment was imparted was for due process and equality under the law. And
so, in other words, so let's do this. I'm a Christian baker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I say, well, okay, my wedding cakes are this price. Unless it's same-sex marriage, if you want me to violate my Christianity, it's now going to cost 3 times, 4 times as much, twice as much to have that cake if you want to have Bob and Ralph.
Well, they'll still put you out of business because they've already done that.
But I'm just saying, isn't that kind of the same thing? I know you can't. I know they haven't done that yet, but so I understand what you're saying. All right, because I had an incident where this actually happened to me. So I had a person who wanted me to edit their podcast. So I talked to her, lovely woman, very nice, into podcasting. I said, okay, no problem. Set everything up. I get the first show, and she is a devout social justice warrior.
Okay.
And she's talking about stuff like white privilege and culture appropriation and all this other stuff and stuff that I don't even know. But by halfway through it, I was like, my eyes are rolling in the back of my head so much that they actually hurt. Mm-hmm. Like, I couldn't believe this. And I thought to myself, I don't know if I will be able to continue on with this show. I don't know if I can actually listen to this every week. So I went to a Facebook group of editors and I said, hey, listen, what would you do? What should I do? Am I being a puss, Should I just, sack up and do this and not, say anything or whatever? I mean, she has the right to her opinion. And listen to, I agree. She has the right to her opinion. She has the right to say what she wants to, and I would support her right, even though we disagree with everything she says.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So in the group, the one guy says, well, we have a page about us. And he's an editor. And you go to his site, you go to his page about us, and he's a Christian, and he doesn't want to do a podcast that has foul language or talks about homosexual things and all that. And it was at that point where I said, guess what? I am now doing this show, and I'm going to shut my yap because I don't want to be that guy.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, you don't have to. There's a lot of directors and producers out in the entertainment industry.
Right, but I felt like...
I mean, how many cameramen do you think are like at places like on Keith Olbermann's show?
Right.
That probably know that he's a screaming idiot, but...
They just do the work.
Right.
Because they need a paycheck.
You know.
And he's willing to pay them.
You know, and it's like, but you're not like charging her more.
No, I'm not.
You know.
And I wouldn't.
You know,
but I'm just saying, it's just kind of this funny thing. So then I thought to myself, wow, that's a white tax. And she's like, no, it's not. You know, I can afford that because because of my white privilege, I can afford that. And I'm like, well, if you want to pay a white tax, be my guest. You know who won't be paying a white tax?
Jackass.
Right. So I'm thinking to myself, if it's one of those readings where where they read your, I don't know, life or your palm or your or whatever.
Fortune teller.
A fortune teller.
Basically, it's a con artist.
Okay, so basically, well, some of these people believe in him, and God love them, they're allowed to.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing illegal about it.
Some people believe the world is flat.
Right.
Too.
So you figure the first $200 is a stupid tax.
Right.
And then on top of that, if you're stupid and white, it's double the price. I find that unfair.
See how far it goes. I mean, if it gets any traction, I mean, I don't see where it's any different if a white person was doing that against an ethnic minority.
All right, so there's a place
that person would wind up being dragged. Well, they'd be crucified by the media, and then it would be taken to court.
Okay, so there's a place in Louisiana, and basically the food, the guy's got like one of those windows. It's a walk-up food store. So the owner is Nigerian. If you walk up to the window and you order lunch, if you're a person of color, he charges you $12. If you and I walk up to the window, he asks us if we would like to pay $30 for the same lunch because of the wage disparity, because of the wage difference. Because of the wage difference that there is between people of color and white people. And then what happens is that starts a conversation.
What happens if you say, no, I don't want to pay that?
You can still pay the $12.
Does he spit in your food?
It does include spit. Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know that. I shouldn't say that. I don't know that. But I mean, I can't see that he has a very big white...
If I was even asked that question...
I would just turn around and leave.
I wouldn't even order the food.
No, I wouldn't either.
Yeah, because it was just that's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous premise.
Man, I mean, is that where we're going right now? Where if you're a white person now, that you get to be charged more for this because of your white privilege? Now they're trying to tax the white man because
I don't know what it is. I mean, it's just something that I guess they feel that in this environment, what's going on in the media, the crazy media that is like MSN and BC and CNN, they just think, hey, school's out.
Well, I see what happens is I would walk up to the window and the guy would ask me if I wanted to pay the $30 because I'm white. And I would be like, what are you talking about? Can't you tell? I identify as black. What are you talking about, Willis?
Oh, you want to play that? Yeah.
What are you talking about, Willis? I identify as black, brother.
Well, that
power to the people.
That woman that was the president of the NAACP. Yeah,
that's right.
She was,
she identified as black.
Yeah. And
I wonder if I would get spit in my food at $12. You think?
I wouldn't even I would not patronize a place like that.
I know you wouldn't.
I would just just if the topic came. Well, I would go up and try the food, but if I was asked that question, no.
Right.
Because if they're broaching it, they're serious. They're not just like, oh, I'm kidding.
Right.
They're hoping that you're stupid.
I guess. I don't know. And again, I think what happens is they take generalizations and then they take that and they make that a statistic. In other words, there's more to the story if you're going to talk about disparity.
Disparity.
Damn it. Wage difference.
Disparity.
That's it. See? I should be able to get a $12 lunch because I can't talk.
You should be able
Where's
to get
my
a
privilege?
$6 lunch because you're
An idiot. I hear you. All right.
tongue-tied.
Why can't I say that word? Damn you. Damn you, English mocking me. All right. So anyhow, I was just wondering what you thought about that.
Did you want to read this story? Or?
Well, go ahead. Give it a little whirl. See what you think.
All right. Food stall serves up a social experiment. White customers asked to pay more. A customer approaches the window at Sarty, or Sarge.
I thought it was
Saartj. So, I don't know.
Isn't that like Shart?
Who knows? A pop-up food stall in New Orleans running a social experiment. Customers of color charge a listed $12 price for a meal. White customers are told about the income gap in New Orleans between whites and African Americans and ask whether they want to pay $30 instead, a price that reflects the gap. Can a $12 lunch change the way people think about racial wealth disparity in America? No, I'm thinking no. How about a $30 lunch? That's the premise behind a social experiment playing out in New Orleans food stall. Chef Tunde Way opened his pop-up stall in the city's Rue, it's French,
right,
venue in early February.
Words are hard.
Yeah, well, English I've got.
Okay.
French, not so much.
All right.
The listed price for the Nigerian food is $12, but when white people walk up to order, they are asked whether they want to pay $30. Why? It's 2.5 times more than the $12 meal, which reflects the income disparity between whites and African Americans in New Orleans. I'm going to go out before we even finish this. This is probably a flawed study.
That's what I said.
Just like the women are only getting paid 77 cents to $1.
I agree with that.
Flawed study. That's probably where this all comes.
Right.
But this guy got confirmation bias from somewhere that posted this, and that's why he's running with this. Anyway, it continues. The median income for African-American households in New Orleans fell from $32,000 in 2000 to $27,000 in 2013. That's in inflation-adjusted dollars, according to the data center's New Orleans index at 10, whatever that is.
Okay.
I'm sure that's probably some kind of liberal.
What does the white man make?
Over the same time, median income for white households in the city remained roughly the same, $61,170 to $60,070.
That's quite a difference in pay.
Well, in 2013, the median household income for African Americans in Metro New Orleans was 54% lower than for whites. All right, now here's where I'm going to go out on a tangent here. This is probably not reflecting what do these people do for a living.
Exactly.
They're just taking a blanket number.
Right.
And whose fault is that?
There we go. So again, you're going to take a kind of a narrative and take that and change it where it sounds like the white devil is doing all this and keeping their foot on the neck of the black man. And I say power to the people. I say everybody should have the same opportunity, whether they're white, black, gay. What else what am I missing here?
Yeah, just fill in the blank. I mean, what is there, 72 genders now? So I mean,
right. Who knows? Right. Yeah, if you're trans, whatever. Yeah, if you do a job, you should be paid for it. But then again, there's a certain thing where are you worth that amount of money to do the job that, in other words, are we supposed to, my dad used to always say to me when I used to say, you know what, I don't like English. What do I need English? After he said, well, son, it's your native tongue. You might be a podcaster one day, and you won't be able to say wage disparity.
And you're going to have a grammar Nazi for a friend. It's going to jump all over your shit.
And then the second thing he would always say was the world needs ditch diggers, too. Now, are you going to pay a ditch digger $62,000? Well, maybe if they're union. I don't know what the union ditch diggers make this time. But what I'm trying to say is that I find that this is getting crazier and crazier as things are going on. This is going to be a thing. Like, they're going to try this. I mean... And then some people are actually falling for it, which then it kind of gives it what's it called?
It's actually kind of a sense of extortion.
Right.
Because if you go up there and you say, well, I don't want to pay $30. I just want to pay $12. But if I say no, then I'm going to be labeled a homophobe, racist, misogynist, whatever.
Right.
And
I have spit in my food.
And not even that.
And who knows if they might spit in a $30 meal.
Well, they're probably like video surveilling, and then like if you put up a stink, then you wind up on the internet.
Right.
So, and who needs that? I would just walk away, say
that's okay.
I wouldn't even respond. Like, I would say, are you serious? And they said, yeah, nope.
No, thank you. No. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what we have. That's what we have McDonald's for.
Right.
Or love that chicken at Popeyes.
That's
it's
exactly
Louisiana
right.
fast.
That's right.
So
costs the same for everybody.
I'm sure you can't swing a dead cat and not miss a Popeyes down there.
Or Bojangles. Or my favorite, Kentucky Fried.
KFC?
Yeah, love it. Absolutely. Well, I haven't had Bojangles yet.
I've heard of it. I've never seen one.
But as far as I'm concerned, Kentucky Fried is better than Popeyes, in my humble opinion. All right.
I couldn't even tell you the last time I was even in a KFC. Might have been when there were still Geno's around here selling KFC.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez, I go once a week. Yeah. I get Kentucky Fried once a week.
I'm a Chick-fil-A fiend.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And I don't like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, well, you're a communist.
Is that what it is? Okay.
You know, you got a problem when you walk in and they call you by name.
Yes.
And then they know, number one with a small vanilla shake for a
year.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and I have exact change.
Yeah, exactly.
821. Here you go.
So, Deuce, I have on order a new T-shirt. We are actually with We Have Merch, and you can go to wehavemerch.com and check out the Brand X T-shirt that we have. We have one, and we also have mugs. And they look like they're quite stylish.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm waiting for mine to come in. They actually have them in my size, which is unbelievable. It's a T-shirt. It'll actually cover your car. It's a lot of different things.
It's a circus tent.
It's a circus tent. You can put 2 poles in it, stay in it overnight.
It's a hammock.
Yes. Very, very different uses.
But they make all kinds of stuff, you were saying.
Right. Not only that,
coffee
but there's
cups.
Well, they do right now. And then I want to get a flask from the Unwritable Rant.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, they're having a contest, and the contest is one can win. So I signed up, and then Dave, the producer, said, "Well, if you get this, so how are you going to split this with Deuce?" I'm like, "Fuck Deuce."
Yeah. Well, that's how it usually goes.
That's right.
Yeah. Deuce knows.
Deuce knows. So anyhow, go over to We Have Merch and check out our T-shirts. There's also the Unwritable Rant. There's also Who's Right, and a bunch of other shows over there. So check out their merch, and we think you'll be very happy with the product.
You will be pleased.
So I was talking to Doug. Doug actually called me like 15 minutes before we started this podcast. He says, "I got nothing to talk to you about, but if I don't call you every couple of days, you get on your show and start giving me a bunch of shit." So I just said, "Well," so we were talking, and last week's episode of the Who's Right podcast, it was, Doug thought it was a dumpster fire.
I don't think it was as bad as I think it was better.
Did you listen to it?
Yeah, I heard it. I heard it. I was listening to it at work.
Okay.
When it broke, I was like, "Ooh, got a new episode."
Right.
It was like train wreck.
Right. So, so they were fighting back and forth whether they should even have a podcast. And I thought it was a great job. But one of the things I love, maybe it's me, I'm kind of a voyeur, is like when people are actually fighting and stuff like that, I want to hear it. Mm-hmm. I want to hear what's going on. I want to watch it. I want to watch and listen to it. So I thought it was a really good episode. So they had called me before the show even went out, and they wanted to ask me about editing and trying to edit and stuff like that. And I'm kind of working with Doug in editing with Adobe Audition. The problem with Doug is he's such a diva. Like, in other words, we go online, and I'm trying to show him how to do this, but I can't listen to him. I can't hear what he's doing, and I have to put my phone in my pocket, and I can hear everything double. It was ridiculous. But anyhow, we got through it. He got stuff. So I give it to him, and then he calls me. He's ready to put the show out, and he sends me a note and says, "It sounds like shit." I said, "Okay, send me everything. Let me see what's going on." Well, he didn't, he had a few of his little touches. He put a little bit more spice in the mix. He put a couple of effects on there and everything. And what he did was he put this voice leveler. Mm-hmm. I swear to God, when I was listening to it, it was like Doug was like right here talking in my ear. Like it was like, you could hear every mouth noise. You could hear every slap of his tongue. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever, there was no way he could listen to that whole thing. So I'm like, what the fuck?
So as if the whole part that you just called him a diva
Right.
To start this whole off, he's a bit of a diva.
I'm sorry. This is
which I don't see, but okay.
This is a bit of a tangent.
And now you're going off.
So I couldn't figure out what he was
he's
doing.
Disgusting.
No, I didn't say he was disgusting. I said the audio was so loud and up front of just like Doug, like it was like he could, yeah. It was crazy, right? And I was like, oh. So I go in there and I found what he had turned on, and I turned that off, and I got everything straightened out and sent it back to him, and everything was fine. So when I was talking to Doug and Anthony after they had their fight, they called me like, I don't know, what am I going to do? And so we were talking, and I said, well, I should do a show with Anthony. And Doug says, well, I should do a show with Deuce. And Anthony and I were like, I'm up for it. Mm-hmm. I would do an episode with Anthony. I'm here to ask you, would you do an episode with Doug?
Yeah, I'm a tree. I can bend.
Me and Doug have tried to do shows before. We are horrible together. I don't know what it is about him and me.
Oh, yeah, because you're just a flawless individual.
I'm just saying, the two of us, we can talk on the phone, have great conversations or something. You open up a mic, and it's just awkwardness. Mm-hmm. It's really, really awkwardness. It's horrible. I've never seen anything like it. Like, I would think that if me and him did a show together, that it would be pretty good. But for some crazy reason, and I can't figure out what it is, that as soon as we get on mic together, it's horrible. We've tried it a couple times. I want to try to set up a time where I can do a show, an episode with Anthony, and then maybe you and Doug can get together.
You went,
Listen, that's my mind. It's not anything to do except that whatever's my mind is trying to push the word Doug into my mouth, and my mouth is not picking it up. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, exactly. So, anyhow, I thought that would be a pretty good idea.
Where would we do that at?
Well, I don't know, but I'm sure I can figure out how to do that. I'll just leave you two now.
That's what I said. I think I'm pretty much...
I mean, you could come here, and we could set it up here.
Yeah. I mean, we did it before, but it was...
oh, yeah, that's right. It was horrible.
From what I heard...
They couldn't even use it.
It kept... I forget what we were using. Whether we were,
I think you guys
Skype.
were using Slack.
No, I think we were using Skype.
Oh, how did you record it?
I don't know.
Oh, this is too much inside baseball, to be quite honest with you.
I forget how we did it, but apparently, like, it kept dying out. Like, it kept cutting out, and then we had to reconnect, and it was like,
I see what you're
footage.
saying.
So they never even used it.
Oh, okay. They were probably recording it.
I was at my house, and
I got you.
They were wherever they were.
Yes. True.
It might have been so far long ago that it might have been before Doug moved to where he's at now.
Okay.
I think they were still back in the same state.
Yes. Okay. All right. So that's good. I'd like to try that. We'll see what happens there.
Mm-hmm.
It should be fun. All right. So I heard this one story, and I'll tell you one thing. I love Bud Light's marketing department. If they could only make beer as well as they market beer, that would be one hell of a company. I was going to say country, but it's not really a country. So the Masters is this week, or what I call a Snorfest. I mean, I guess if you're into golf, you would want to watch it or whatever. I don't know. I find it boring, although I don't like golf.
George Carlin, you say. Did you ever watch golf? It's like watching flies fuck.
I would rather watch flies fuck. I would think fly porn, for me, would be more entertaining
than
golf.
But a lot of people say that about auto racing also, which...
I understand that, but see, I'm into auto racing because I traveled with cars and stuff like that.
I think golf probably televises better than auto racing.
Maybe.
Because to the layman, it's like, oh, just guys driving in a circle making a left.
Right.
And there's really more to it than that.
Mm-hmm.
The problem in my opinion, with auto racing is they're only focused on what's going on at the head of the pack. Where all the action is in the back for all those sons of bitches trying to get to the front of the pack.
Right.
And that's where a lot of the drama is.
Well, okay. So in the past couple of golf tournaments, whenever someone has taken a shot, now the thing is to yell, "Dilly Dilly!" And it's really been pissing the golfers off because they're a little bit of they're quite the tight.
They're like
asses.
Doug, they're divas?
No, I didn't say they're divas. I said they're a little bit of a tight ass.
But you're not denying that you didn't call Doug a diva.
He is a little bit of a diva.
Okay.
There's nothing I haven't said to his face.
Just wanted to hammer that point home.
Right. Well, I've never said it to his face. We've never met in real life,
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow.
Is he going to come up to Philly?
No.
For the
no, I doubt that.
Podcast convention?
No, he's not going to do that. Anyhow, the Masters have now banned the phrase dilly dilly from being yelled. So if you yell dilly dilly, they will escort you off the premises. So Bud Light, being the company that I love on Twitter, they put this out. Here, I'll read it to you. Hear ye, hear ye. Your king hath received word that the guards of the Green Jackets plan to escort any patron who dare utter dilly dilly off yon premises. Except for myself, I am against tyranny in all forms. So I have instructed my royal tailors to make 1,000 dilly dilly shirts that shall be delivered to Georgia in time for the festivities. For if thou cannot say dilly dilly, thou can still wear dilly dilly. Your friendship in bear, King John Barley the Fourth. I think that's fantastic. So they're going to send 1,000 dilly dilly T-shirts to the Masters. So you know what that's going to make me do now.
Drink Bud?
Stop it. It's ridiculous. I would rather eat food from a window in New Orleans that was spitting
and pay
$30.
Yes.
But I want to see how many dilly dilly shirts are in the crowd. Will they confiscate the dilly dilly shirts?
I want to know how they're going to No, they can't do that. But I want to know how they're going to work the cameras because they'll probably be instructed as don't pan the crowd. We can't do that.
So in other words, you put a T-shirt on over another shirt, and when you get there, you take the one shirt off, and you got the dilly dilly. Will they escort you off the premises for wearing dilly dilly?
I don't think they can.
Why not? They can do whatever they want.
The only thing I can see them doing though, because having our card club, we used to meet at a golf club, and it wasn't our rule, but it was the golf club's rule that we could not wear jeans, and you had to wear a polo shirt.
Yeah, you had to have a shirt with a collar.
Shirt.
Right.
So if these are just T-shirts, they're going to have to wear them over a polo shirt.
Oh, yeah, because it has to have a collar.
Right. So
interesting.
Unless Bud's on top of that.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's going to be interesting. Now I have to watch the Masters to see what actually happens. See if
anyone's escorted off.
Right. Or, they'll never show you that. No. But I want to see if there's for 1,000 people to be at this, there's going to be a sea of dilly dilly. Mm-hmm. Don't you think?
Right.
I don't know.
You get 10,000 people. Well, they don't let that many people on there, but.
Right, but there's going to be 1,000.
It's always in Augusta.
Augusta, Georgia, yes. Yeah, okay. Oh, my God, the Masters. Are you kidding me?
One time they had the Walker Cup up here in Pine Valley.
What the hell's a Walker Cup?
It's a prestigious golf tournament that's done. I don't know how often it's done, but they did it in Pine Valley. And a little inside baseball. Pine Valley is right here in New Jersey, and it's rated usually every year the number 1 or number 2 golf course in the world. And no one knows about it.
Really?
And I've been on it because we used to deliver tobacco and cigar. Uncle Bob, when he had his wholesale, the store was right there.
Right.
And we used to deliver cigars, high-grade cigars, and some cigarettes, and 2 boxes of playing cards. Because they used to play cards there.
Sure. A lot of gambling afterwards.
Yeah, well, it's a private. It's the only, to my knowledge, maybe it's different now, it's the only totally fenced-in borough in New Jersey. It has its own police department.
Really?
There's 14 or 15 houses on it. They're all gazillionaires. Michael Jordan was flown in there. Clint Eastwood was flown in there. They got a helipad there. You didn't know any of this,
I had no idea.
Oh, yeah. And if you Google Pine Valley Golf Course,
I will have to check this out.
Every year it's rated the number 1 or number 2 golf course in the world. But they had the Walker Cup in 1980.
Would Tiger Woods be allowed to play there?
I'm sure he's been there.
You think?
They don't do any events there anymore. Because what had happened in '86, they had.
I was wondering if they were allowed to have was there any bleaks allowed to play?
Well, yeah, they were there.
Okay,
but but they had a lot of old time rules regarding women. Like the women could only play for 4 hours a day, and they had to be there with their husbands.
If they keep their mouth shut.
Well, it's just golf stands for gentlemen only, ladies forbidden.
There we go.
So it was they had the old rules, but they came under that in 1986. That's when all that shit with the Masters started coming up and everything. And Pine Valley just said, screw it, we'll never do another tournament here again.
Oh, so in other words, it is very...
Because they just didn't want to be... Well, no, because they had to come up with so many stupid rules, and they would
let black people play, let women play.
No, nothing like that. It was just the access with networks and all that, and it was just and it's totally encased. It's not like on the beach
Okay.
It's not like Pebble Beach in California.
I have a feeling it's more because they didn't want any black people on the course.
Well, I know that they've been there because Michael Jordan played there.
Oh, that's true.
Clearly, you're not listening. You just seems to me you have an agenda lately. It's like you're always invoking this.
Well, I'm just saying. The reason that the big hubbub was that
that and ladies,
right?
It was that and women.
Okay, maybe they didn't want women.
It was just that's what it was all about.
Okay,
but I lost my train of thought. But anyway, my
agenda.
I've been there all the time, quite a few times at Pine Valley.
All right.
Yeah, check it out. You didn't even know it was there, did you?
I had no idea.
You probably drove by it a million times.
I probably have.
You know where Clementon Lake Park is?
Absolutely.
It's nestled right back there.
Get out of town.
Yeah,
go by that all the time.
Yeah, I had guns drawn on me by the Pine Valley Police Department, along with the Lindenwold Police Department, Clementon Police Department.
What the hell did you do?
I was working for Uncle Bob. And
right.
Back then, when people actually read newspapers,
yes,
the Sunday paper came in like 9 sections,
right,
and it took forever to fold them up. So they would deliver most of the newspapers on Saturday night,
and
then Sunday morning they would just drop off the front page in the sports section.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. Yes,
that's right. So I went in there to fold up the newspapers, which I always did. And when I got there, there was a car parked in the middle of the parking lot. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? So I pulled in, and these people came across the street, got in the car, and they left. I said, okay. I go in the store, and I'm folding up newspapers. Next thing I know, I hear like all cars careening into the parking lot. And they're like, I got the back, I got that. I was like, oh, great, it's the cops. They think something's going on here. So I opened up the door, and it's like all the cops that I waited on, they're all there, and they got their guns out on me and everything. And I just... See, this is the difference between Deuce and like what goes on in Ferguson and everything. I just put my hands up like as high as they would go and followed orders. And strangely, I didn't get shot. It's funny how that works. But it was like finally one of the cops recognized me, and he was a Pine Valley cop. He said, "Oh, that's the guy that works here." I said, "Oh, what are you doing here?" I said, "I'm folding up the Sunday papers. What are you guys doing here?" "Oh, we got a report that there was some suspicious activity here, and they came to the police department." Here, it was the people that were parked in the lot. They saw me watching them, and they went to the police department and like dined me out.
What were they doing? They're probably I
don't know what they were doing.
A little nookie session, maybe?
Well, they parked their car in the lot, and they walked across the street somewhere. I don't know where the hell they came from.
Okay.
And back then, the cops had revolvers, and I'll tell you what, when you're looking down a barrel, it's like... Give Me 3 Steps from Leonard Skinner, because I was staring straight down that big black lidless eye of a revolver, and I saw all the other bullets in the cylinder.
Jesus.
I was like, well, this is frightening.
This is frightening.
So it was just
right.
But that was a legendary story. That was back in 86, 87. Good times. Good times.
Well, at least you weren't at YouTube.
No, it wasn't. So, in fact, I predicted that yesterday.
You predicted?
Well, I predicted what it was going to wind up being. I came in from running around, and the Queen of Dilly Dilly had just came home, and Wise was there.
Not the Queen of Dilly Dilly. The Queen of Dilly
Dilly.
Okay.
So, Diane should work for the federal government, because if it's a 2-step process, she'll make it 8.
Okay.
So, that's how she puts all these extra steps into things. But anyway.
That's not true, Wise guy. You stop it.
But,
okay.
So we had the news on, and they said the perpetrator or the suspect is described as a woman wearing a scarf on her head. And of course, I said, Muslims.
But this must be fake news. That couldn't have happened.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about a woman of color going into a place and shooting up people
with a handgun and not an AR-15.
Right. I mean, only white men with AR-15s go in and shoot up. This is. Obviously
in California,
right,
where they have the strictest gun control in the world.
Excuse me, but isn't YouTube a gun-free zone? So this couldn't have happened.
Right.
Just the gun-free zone alone should have stopped anybody from coming in with a gun.
We were near that area when we were out in California. That wasn't too far away from where we were staying.
Okay.
And we were driving around, taking in the sights and everything, and we're like, hey, look, kind of saw it. Didn't stop.
Well,
but
I got to tell you something. And it's happening with all social media. Like, they're losing their mind, okay? This is what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to have a platform where we upload our shitty videos, okay, where we can send them out into the ether, and either people watch them or not. And then what was happening was that YouTube decided to do something in their algorithm, and their views were going down and down and down and down.
Right.
Then
they demonetized her.
Right. Then they well, not just her, but a bunch of different people.
Right.
Now, there's one show that I used to watch on YouTube all the time. It was called
memorable, huh?
It was two puppets, Glove and Booth. Glove and Booth. Anyhow, they said, listen, we can't afford to do this. They were making money on advertising. They were getting like hundreds of thousands of views, and then the advertising was paying for it. So they were making money at this. And they just shut it down. They're like, I don't know if we're ever going to come back. So what would happen is you would put your videos on YouTube, and then they had a fit if, like, Facebook didn't want you to link your YouTube videos to Facebook. They wanted you to upload your own videos. So what they were doing is they were doing both. So people were watching on Facebook, but they weren't watching it on YouTube.
Right. They weren't clicking on the link.
Right. So then half the people on YouTube would see it. So then what happens, they actually half their own audience. So this started this big, I don't know, revolt as far as YouTube. Then YouTube starts, all of a sudden, they just started demonetizing videos for conservatives. Okay, Prager University and all this other. Now they're taking down gun videos. Like if you had a gun and you were showing how to shoot
field strip it,
right, and do all that kind of stuff.
A lot of the gun videos were like that, of that nature.
Right.
Basically, they were instructional, like how to field strip your,
or how to shoot
1911.
Here's a gun.
How to sight a gun in.
Yeah, here's a gun. We're going to shoot it and show you the accuracy or whatever, what we think of it. They do kind of an unboxing, as you will. So now it's like, what are we going to watch? What are we going to listen to? Facebook's doing the same thing. Now, Facebook's taking a beating. Their stocks drop. People are signing off. It's the first time in forever that they actually have less people on Facebook now than they did
a couple of years ago.
Exactly.
When they went public.
People are starting to drop off.
Yeah. No one's really taking it. We discussed this a couple of podcasts ago. Like, I'm noticing a lot less traffic.
I see the same stupid video, same stupid updates and everything from weeks ago. I don't see anything new. Now, I know people are putting stuff on there every day.
Right.
And I'm just not seeing it. So anyhow, this woman here, she's quite the looker. She's very attractive, I think. Nasim.
Guilty.
Well, there's no sense. There's no sense in taking her to court. She shot herself.
I heard her videos consisted of skinning animals, and so that was one of the issues YouTube had with her.
Well, she's an animal-loving vegan, because she's part of the PETA movement. You're not supposed to harm animals to eat them. Okay. You're supposed to, if there was ants in the house, she would scoop them up on a piece of paper and take them outside. She would not kill an ant or anything like that. So she was making videos that was showing the cruelty to animals through, food preparation and all that kind of stuff. So I guess what happened was after, I don't know how much money she was making off these YouTube videos. I have no idea.
I saw one of the blurbs. She put a post on. She had something like 10,000 views, and they only paid her 10 cents.
10 cents or something like that.
Yeah, it was like something.
So the police found her the day before, and she had been reported missing.
Yeah, she was sleeping in her car.
Like 30 miles from YouTube.
Yeah.
I just thought to myself, boy, what are the people going to scream about now? What are the students going to scream about now?
Well, they're already blaming the NRA.
The NRA?
Yeah, well, that's their fault. Once again, an NRA member caused death, and
she's not an NRA member.
Exactly.
Yeah. How are they going to spin this?
When I was walking out the door to come here, they were we had the news on, and they were already going into overdrive.
Let me see your backpack. Huh.
Yeah, how about that? Oh, we want to be safe. We want to be safe. All right, clear backpacks for everyone. This is against my constitutional rights.
Wait a minute. They can put a gun in a book.
I can't express myself. It's clear bags against my constitutional. Yeah, but what about everyone's Second Amendment rights? Fuck them. Condom snorting?
Yes. Would you ever?
I thought this was an April Fool's joke.
It's not.
I know, but when it kind of surfaced, I was really not paying too much attention to what was going on, and then I became aware of it on April Fool's Day.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, okay, right.
This can't.
Just because on April 1st, you're always walking around all shields up, sensors array, fully bristly, because someone's going to try to scam you I
Yes.
really thought that this was an April Fool's joke.
Well,
I wish it was an April Fool's joke.
Well, I see what happens is like the kids were eating the Tide Pods, and you're thinking to yourself, that's it. There's no way that anybody could do something more stupid than eat a Tide Pod.
Hold my beer.
Exactly. So then a kid gets a... Now, let me ask you a question. If you're going to do this, do you use a lubricated condom or do you use a dry condom?
Well, I would say don't do it at all, but of course I'm going to err on the side of common sense and lucidity. So, I wouldn't. It wouldn't even. Who did this even occur to try this?
Well, I see. You used to see comedians. They would take a rope. They would take a rope and they would they would put it up their nose and it would come out their mouth, and they would do this thing where it was like they were flossing. Brain flossing. Yeah. Okay. So then someone said that. You know something? I guess took a condom out and said, you know something? I could probably do the same thing with this as Howie did with that string. Now, again, I have no idea where this came from. Was this a dare one time?
I'm sure there was drugs and or alcohol involved.
I don't know. But what they're doing is they're snorting the condom up their nose and pulling it out their mouth. And I don't understand why this is a thing or...
And I bet a lot of these kids are always like protesting like how the poor fish are choking to death on plastics because they ingest it. Like now, if you don't catch that and that goes down your throat,
you're done.
Yeah, I mean, you got to.
That's it.
I mean, if that goes in your lungs or something,
I don't know how you're going to get it out.
Yeah, I mean, you're cracking your chest open.
So
I would think.
So now I'm thinking, like, if you do that, like, you pull it through, all right. So you finally get it through your nose and it comes out your mouth, right? So now all of a sudden you got the end, the open end of the condom.
Mm-hmm.
It's in your nose. So what if someone came up and blew into that and blew the condom up like a little balloon?
Well, it would only take up so much space, but...
Well, I'm saying it would go through that, but then it would come out of your mouth and you would have like a little balloon thing.
Yeah.
Now that I'd like to see.
Comes out like a puppy.
Right. You can make a little balloon animal out of it.
Inside your sinus cavity.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's just...
So I see this one thing. So just what is the condom challenge? It's simple, really. Unravel a latex-smelling, lubricated Johnny, snorted it deep into your labyrinth of your nasal cavity.
You mean larynx? What are you? Let me see.
Labyrinth
of your nasal cavity.
Right. I was right.
All right. Well, I didn't know.
One for me.
Yeah. Ding, 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 ding.
There we go. And pulling it out from the back of your throat.
Try
Nasty.
disparity now.
Disparity.
Yeah.
I learned a new word today.
When the pressure counts, John's on it.
Podcasting and learning new words. It's all about the learning. Disparity.
That picture there.
Use that in a sentence.
Does not look like he's having a good time.
Neither one of these look like they're having a good time. And here, I thought it was girls doing this. It's guys doing this too.
Yeah.
What could be the next thing? What could be more stupid than sucking a condom in your nose?
Yeah, not that it's
and out your mouth.
Not that it's funny or laughable or nothing, but like that hazing ceremony that college campuses, you get into a fraternity or a sorority, and it'd be like a hazing ceremony, usually involving lots of alcohol or something.
Right.
That's all we used to have to worry about. Now we're worried about kids eating Tide Pods and snorting condoms and
like, what if someone took a shit on like a piece of wax paper and then it was like a straight log and you put it in the freezer?
Ooh.
And then afterwards they brought it out, dipped it in a little olive oil, tried to shove it right back up there again.
So how long did you think of this?
Just now. It just came to me right now.
So you had that's sprang to your mind?
Well, I'm just trying to think what would be more stupid than this.
Yeah. Well, apparently
what would that be?
Apparently they're using household appliances, so it's just like,
Right.
It's not like you can find a handy turd lying around.
It takes more preparation. I do agree that it would take more preparation.
I remember a few years ago, you remember hearing them snorting like
turd swapping. In other words, Johnny makes a turd, you freeze it, then you shove it up Charlie's ass.
No.
Turd swapping. No.
No.
I'm just wondering. I'm just trying to think what else would.
Just no.
No turd swapping?
No. Just no.
That might be the title of the episode.
But you're right. It's not going to be the end of it. They're going to come up with some other household appliance or
that's
and they're going to wind up. Yeah, well, anything you can buy in the store.
I guess.
What a waste.
Has
anyone died from this?
Not yet. Not that I see.
And they want to take my guns from me.
These are the kids.
These
that
are the wizards of smart that we're
it's going to change
now.
policy.
Yeah,
we're listening to these doofuses.
Yeah, it's just like
numbnuts.
I can't wait to see how they're going to.
What? You started. Go ahead.
Well, going back to the last story, how they're going to spin this now? How because handgun, like the Jimmy pointed out, it's like the handguns are using the bulk of.
They want a full repeal of the Second Amendment.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
they want to remove the guns from Americans. That's what this is all about.
I also, until Doug pointed it out, that for some reason you guys were offended that Jimmy agrees with me a lot.
Oh,
so.
Well, it's funny
because he's a smart guy.
Stop it with this. Jimmy's a smart guy. First of all, it's you two have the same kind of
common sense.
No, values. Let's use the word values.
Mm-hmm.
Another, whether it's you're both right leaning. Well, you're so right leaning, you're going to ready to fall off the table. But Jimmy's a right leaner, like he's more conservative in situations like that, where I am more moderate. And matter of fact, it is proven now. Because if you go on
that you're more moderate than me,
yeah,
I guess it is.
Yes.
I guess.
Because it proves that I'm a moderate. Because if you go on Facebook,
oh yeah, there's a pillar.
Wait a minute, hang on, before you get all crazy here. Where's my phone?
That's where you lost me. If you go on Facebook, okay.
Oh, here it is. Okay, so if you go on Facebook, where's the Facebook at?
Is that one of those quizzes where you signed your rights away?
No. So what they do is they advertise. So if you go on Facebook on your phone, and this is an iPhone, so I don't know if you people with Androids what happens. So there's settings and privacy, okay, and then you go to account settings,
mm-hmm. And you can switch that to moderate.
You don't switch it. What happens? It picks up the information that you're seeing and everything. And it tells you what you are. Okay. So then I did this today and I found it. Now I don't know if I can. Security general
settings.
No, I'll have to edit this down.
Yeah.
So I don't sound like a moron.
This is riveting.
Account settings, ads, and it pops up ad preferences. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then it tells you.
Can you click none?
Your information. And it'll tell you your categories. And in here, it says U.S. politics, moderate. So there you go. Now, I wonder what yours would say.
I don't need an app to tell me what I am.
I'm just saying.
I'm not lost.
So in other words, they're actually labeling you
mm-hmm.
from what you're doing on Facebook as what you are.
But I'm not even doing anything for the last year.
I didn't pick moderate.
Yeah, but I haven't even been doing anything. I've been laying low on Facebook for the last year and a half.
Well, I hear you. I'm just saying. Interesting. Very, very interesting.
That's all part of that new algorithm they're using.
Yeah, which is making it worse.
Yeah, losing money.
Back to my original statement.
They're filtering the news now.
Yeah, in other words, just leave it alone. You have a platform. Let people go on there and do what they're going to do.
Right.
Stay out of it. Why do you have to get involved? Because now what's going to happen is somebody's going to build a conservative one, and then you're going to have a liberal one. So the conservatives will be on the conservative ones, and they'll all be high-fiving and back-slapping and, oh, my God, look at all this.
The liberal one will be, redundant because they already control the vast bulk of it with the major networks and the New York Times, the Washington Post.
Yeah, so for me, a moderate, I'm friends with liberals and conservatives. So what happens online...
I'm not friends with... I'm friends with you. You're a liberal.
I'm not a liberal. It says right there I'm a moderate.
Yeah, you're going to go by that.
It is. It's very scientific.
I'm sure it is.
It is.
I'm sure.
So, it's got to tell you, it's infuriating because you sit there and you listen to somebody and they put something up there and you're like, why even respond? I want, me, I want to wade in. I want to have a debate.
Yeah, but that's not what it turns into.
No, it doesn't.
No. Descends into name calling and
right.
Then people you don't even know are fighting with you. And
right.
then the next thing you know, they want to find out where you work. Well, that'd be great for you.
Well,
find out where you work and
right.
then they want to get you fired. And
I could see it now. Yeah. Hello? Yes, I want to talk about John from the Brand X podcast. Yes. Does he work for you? Well, yes, he does. Well, I think you should fire him. Why? Well, you know what he said on his podcast? Yes, I do. And you agree with that? I agree he has the right to say it. Well, guess what? We're not going to use your services. Do you have a podcast? No. Fuck you. Hang up.
Sawed off.
There you go. Yeah. What are they going to do?
Then you got Cog. He's going after like Laura Ingram's sponsors. That won't last long.
No, it's not going to last long. And then I'm really excited, not because I think I'm a fan of Laura Ingraham, because I'm not. Mm-hmm. But, I don't think that they should, like, run her off the air or anything like that. Like, I think, to be honest with you, it was a stupid thing that she's, it was a dumb tweet. Okay? I understand she's frustrated with the kid. I'm frustrated with the kid.
99% of most tweets are.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, he got everybody. And you can tell he's being handled because he would have never came up with this.
No.
And he would have never had her
list of sponsors
that fast.
Yeah.
Never happened.
Right.
He's being handled. So anyhow, Fox News stood behind her and said, guess what? She's not going anywhere, which is good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, it's funny because this is the tack that your people have been using now for like the last...
My people?
Yeah.
White Polacks?
No, the liberals. And
stop it. I'm not a liberal. How dare you?
Well, that's what they do. The last 3 or 4 years, they've been, well, actually longer than that, they've been going after the advertisers of someone that they don't like.
Yes.
Okay. But then when the conservatives started doing it,
they have a fit.
Oh, man, they have a shit fit.
Well, again, it's mutual.
Turnabout is fair play.
It's mutual destruction. If one side does it, then the other side does it, then there's no winners.
It's just like...
Listen, do you think that Hulu really cares? All right, they just want people to use their shitty TV service. Okay, do you think that...
aren't they just like YouTube or something?
Hulu is the same thing as Netflix.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say, Netflix. Right. They just rebroadcast other programs.
Right, well, yeah.
Shows how much I know because I'm...
Right. Okay, and in all these other places, all they want to do is put their product in front of somebody and hopefully you'll buy it. Okay, they don't give two shits about any of this crap. Mm-hmm. They don't care.
The best was when they tried to do the boycott against Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
On August the 1st a few years ago. It was on August. I remember it was August the 1st.
Okay.
Because they wanted to have this national boycott Chick-fil-A because in an interview that had really nothing to do with directly the chain, but the CEO or the CFO of somebody, it came up like they asked him a question and he answered it. And he said that his religious belief was that marriage is between a man and a woman.
Right.
Well, of course, you can't say that. You're not allowed to have that kind of belief. It's okay for someone to have the opposite belief.
Right.
They're allowed, but you're not allowed to have that because now all of a sudden you're a hater or whatever. And they wanted to boycott the chain nationwide. And then Mike Huckabee organized to go out and support Chick-fil-A. And I drove by. I had to go to the Social Security office in Cherry Hill,
right?
Because my son lost his Social Security card, and that's a train wreck when you replace that. But I digress. I drove by 5 Chick-fil-A's from my house to Cherry Hill, right on the border of Cherry Hill and Camden.
Yes,
and they were lined up like they were seeing Ben-Hur. There was so many people swamping
Ben-Hur
Chick-fil-A's. It was unbelievable. It was that, and that's what you have to do. You have to just basically do that. Jason and Mindy just came on. Let's not do that again, John.
Why? I think we should try.
Because you're out of control.
I think we should try. They're on. Let's try.
Well, you got to log on the Mixler. Do you know how to do it?
No, I don't have to log on the Mixler. I'm circumventing you.
Uh-huh.
I can log on the Mixler.
Well, they go on at 8 at 7:57. But what they do is they play music right up until they go live. Mr. Smarty Pants over there is going to circumvent Deuce.
Well, I'd like to.
Can't your new toy over there do it? Log on to the Mixler?
No. It's funny. I don't even know if I have Mixler on here because of the time it crashed. I might not have Mixler on here. Fuck.
Aha.
The thing
I can't do two things at once. You know that.
Pepper you. It's
right. Not only am I trying to do two things at once, I'm trying to fend you off too. Thank you. You make it so easy. All right. There it is. Oh, keep it up. We are recording. Do you want to cross streams? See what they say. Now I got to bring up Skype.
That didn't look good. What did you think?
I don't know what happened.
The screen went dark.
Yeah, all of a sudden everything went away.
And then all of a sudden Ghostface came back on like your face illuminated from the screen. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Don't do that. Oh, guess what?
Do I know my easy radio podcast?
Well, not only that. Well, here, hold on. Let's see. There he is.
Live from our home studio in Los Angeles, featuring hand-picked topics that serve as an informative and entertaining break from life's daily grind. This is the Evening Radio Podcast. My name is Jason. I'm your host alongside my lovely co-host and wife, Mindy. Coming up, what if you could name your own salary, Mindy? Don't answer, A UK company is doing
$1
just
billion
that for its employees, and China has a new way for people to test drive a car that resembles the way you'd test drive a Snickers candy bar.
Shove that thing in your yap?
What morning routine did Steve Jobs have that contributed to his success, and which member of the royal family brings his furniture with him on vacation? We've got all that, as well as alternate uses for peanut butter on today's show. It's a big show. We got a lot going on.
We do.
Prince
So
Charles
let's get
does
in
that?
and get all of the Evening Radio Podcast. Welcome those of you listening live and those of you listening after the live show on your favorite
I'll go
podcast.
with Prince
Do you
Philip.
wanna,
Speaking
'cause
of
he's
live,
Spanish.
Brand X is asking us if we'd like to cross streams.
absolutely, let's give it a shot. You want to give me a call, John, on your...
He
right.
said, "Call
No, I'll
me."
call him.
Oh,
I'll call him.
Well, let's see here.
Here we
Let
go.
me
Watch
find
this.
him.
Is there much of a delay going that far?
You know what? It's like, see what happens. See, I'd rather have him call because he doesn't do any editing.
Mhm.
I can edit all this silence out of here.
Right.
Shit.
Cried Focky.
Show.
Did you get muted or something?
You there, John?
Hey, there we are.
Something to you.
Okay, hang on. I got a bunch of stuff open right now. I got to get rid of. I'm hearing you
Okay,
twice.
that's
And
You
back
sound
and
like
forth.
us.
Yes.
Oh, you know what, though? Hey, hang on a second, actually. In order for me to record you, let me stop my recording here. And then,
Oh, no.
yeah, I didn't plan for it, so I'd
I
already
know
started
that.
recording.
You know, Deuce
That's
is going to
okay.
be mad at me because I ruined
Actually,
your show.
I was recording, so that's great. I just broke my record. Boy, this is nice live stuff going on here. All right, so how are you guys doing?
We're
Cool.
doing good. I have Deuce here with me. We're Jimmy-less today.
So how are you? Okay.
I figured since you were on, and this is actually Deuce's fault because he goes, oh, look, Jason and Mindy are on right now.
Probably because I get the alert.
Yeah, I know you do. I get the alert too, but I wasn't looking at my
Well, I'm
phone
a real
at the time.
fan. You're like,
I'm not a real fan. Deuce is more of a fan. The only reason is because I don't think anybody could be as much of a fan as Deuce is a fan.
That's funny. Thanks, Deuce.
how you guys
So-
been?
We've been great. So sorry, live listeners, you won't be able to hear these guys live. Unfortunately, we apologize for that because Mixler can only let you use a certain amount of channels, and I'm currently using all of them up. So unfortunately, you guys won't hear this conversation. Do apologize for that.
Okay, but listen, you know what? You tell them to go to the Brand X podcast. They will hear this conversation because I am recording this conversation.
There you go. So here you go, guys. You can go to the Brand X on Mixler, and they are broadcasting on Mixler right now, so you can hear this conversation. And then, of course, once we're done there, you guys can come on back, and we'll finish out what we're doing here. But nice chatting with you guys.
Yeah, it's
I'm-
always cool.
Yes.
Hey, you guys are still
so-
coming out to Philly, right?
Oh, we decided against it. We decided
We were
to
psyched.
save.
Well,
yeah.
you know why, Deuce? Because it's too damn expensive there. Holy shit.
Well, I told
Just
you
to-
stay outside. Don't stay in Philly. Stay in New Jersey.
Well, even then, though, just to drive there daily, we would be paying like a ton of money
No,
for
it's $50
parking.
or $60 a day just to have a parking spot at the hotel.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying. But see, Jackass Deuce would drive you back and forth from New Jersey to Philadelphia.
Wow.
That was my plan because that's why I told you stay in New Jersey. Do not stay in the city.
Well, Jackass Deuce, I did not know you were going to do that for us. Otherwise, I would have done it right away.
Yeah.
Would Jackass Deuce put them up for the time that they were here?
I would if I had a place to do that because
Can't
we're ripping our house apart
I
right
was
now.
going to say
Oh,
you can't throw Wise out for a couple of days. Send him somewhere.
Well, I would love to throw him out, but Diana like,
No, you can't throw them out.
you can't.
He does the best Diane.
You know, I've met Diane, and I don't think she sounds like that.
Neither. Yeah. By the way, if you've just joined us live, we're having a conversation with the Brand X podcast, and you can't hear them, unfortunately, because I've got all the channels used up on Mixler. So I do apologize for that. But if you'd like to listen to the conversation, you can go to Brand X. It's just Brand X, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Brand X on Mixler. So go ahead and do that if you'd like to hear the conversation. Then jump back when we finish it up and continue with what we got going on. So you guys at the end of your show right now, or what?
Yeah, we're pretty much in the tailspin now.
Right, we've done all the damage that we can do. We were talking about how Bud Light they're actually a better marketer than they are making beer because of what's going on at the Masters. You're not allowed to yell dilly dilly at the Masters. They will throw you out of the Masters golf tournament.
Really?
Yes. So Bud Light.
Dilly dilly.
Yeah, dilly dilly. That's what.
It's a commercial.
It's a commercial. Yeah. So what happened now is Bud Light is sending 1,000 T-shirts to the Masters with dilly dilly on the front, which I think is a fantastic idea. And we'll see how that works out. Now, see, I don't watch golf, but I might actually have to turn on golf just to see if this actually works out. And see if you can see it on there. But
they're gonna dumb down the Masters, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Actually, well, again, who drinks more beer than golfers? To be quite honest with you,
so true. But Budweiser,
I know. See, I would be because I listened to the story behind, and I know that not the story behind. What am I talking about? Let me try that again. I listened to the difference between us.
All right,
story behind because there's so much.
Listen, my mouth has a mind of its own sometimes. It just goes off and starts running. I can't stop.
It's like the gingerbread
Say that
man.
one more time.
Exactly.
You know, John, I am finding myself, I don't know what is going on if I'm not reading enough. But I'm suddenly just fumbling with words lately. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I'm like, what is happening? I used to be so eloquent. You know, I used to be able to speak my mind so well. And now I'm just like, I'm kind of like getting redneck. I don't know what's going on.
Me too. I think it's old age. See, I'm a lot older than you. And what happens is the road from my brain to my mouth is full of potholes and detours. So what happens
and I'm getting better.
You are?
Yeah, Mindy practice.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, that's
Remember,
right.
I listen. So
yeah, right. She's not getting better.
Right. So you guys are big beer drinkers. And I'll tell you what, from now on, Stephanie must drink bourbon. They were the funniest shows of her drinking bourbon. I love those shows. And I can't wait for the new one to come out. When is that out?
Yeah. That is, we've already recorded one. We're going to do a few more. We just got our logo done. It looks great. So I already changed the WTF is Success podcast, the Twitter page over to Just Ask Us. So that's going away, and I'm going to change that feed over to Just Ask Us. It's going to happen probably in about 3 weeks, a month maybe. We're gonna get a few in the can so we don't fall too far behind.
All right. So let me ask you this question, because I know I've been on the show, and I've been able to take Mindy on in trivia. But what about Deuce?
Whatever.
Can Deuce come on and take on trivia? And what I think should happen here is I think that Mindy should read the questions, and Deuce should take on Jason in trivia.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Think we can set that up?
I think we could set that up. Yeah, I think, and I was going to say something about Deuce because I was just listening to your podcast, and the same thing was going through my head. Geez, I don't know how to talk anymore. And Deuce, I don't know what it is about Deuce, but he can form a beautiful sentence. I don't know how he does it. Do you read a lot, Deuce? What do you do, man? What's your secret?
Well, I do a lot of reading.
But
I do stammer a lot also on the podcast, and every time I hear it, I go. So.
The funny thing was, last week he showed up to the recording, and he had drank 7 beers before he got here. And I said, you know what? From now on, it is mandatory that you drink 7 beers before you show up on, because he was chatty, he was on point, he was funny. It was amazing. I like drunk Deuce.
I wasn't drunk.
You weren't?
No, I was just feeling good.
Okay. I like feeling good, Deuce, better than...
Hey, John.
Yes.
You were talking on your last podcast about you need a good laugher. Well, yes. I love Deuce's laugh.
Yeah, he's got a good laugh.
Well, see, he's laughing at me usually, so I don't really... But he does have a good laugh. He does have a good laugh. But I've actually come up with other laughs. Like, I don't need those guys anymore. Like, if I have a joke and it lands flat, then I actually have my own laughing that I can do with... all right. I have that whole thing where I can do that kind of stuff. So I have that. And so I don't even need those guys anymore. I can have my own laugh.
So you built your own...
Yes. That's right. I have.
Why don't you just put the applause sign up here in the studio?
I don't need that. Why do I need that when I have this? See?
That's great.
I don't need you guys anymore.
Stephanie's a great laugher, too. I think Mindy's got a good laugh, too. Mindy's got an infectious laugh.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. I love
have different laughs.
Yeah, she does. She does.
I like the delayed Mindy laugh. Yeah, because like something will come out and then Jason's waiting and then like Mindy's trying to keep it all in and all of a sudden it just like comes out like 3 or 4 seconds later. It's like a delay. Like that. Yeah, exactly. Just like that.
Right. Exactly. You could fit a Buick in between the delay, right? I mean, it's like, geez.
The pregnant pause.
Exactly. Hey, we need to do remember we did the 3 is brand X before. Yeah. We need to do this again, man. We need to actually do a full show. You guys bring some segments, we'll bring some segments, and we'll just tear it up and have some fun.
It would be fun.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, we will set that up. I will get in touch with you guys and we will set that up. All right. Well, listen, guys get back to your show. Sorry for butting in. But
not
I really
a problem.
Enjoy it.
I wanted to do it. You messaged me, and I'm hurrying to find my phone. I'm like, I got to get it because I didn't have it plugged in. I don't always have it plugged in, so I hurried and got it plugged. I'm sweating my ass off, by the way. So
we actually have a new thing. I haven't really put it on the podcast yet, but we actually have Alexa now. Alexa, what's the weather?
Currently, in Woodbury, it's 47 degrees Fahrenheit with partly cloudy skies.
47.
That's cold.
It's going to get colder than that,
right?
too.
And it's blowing like crazy here. All right, Alexa, that's enough.
They're talking about
she doesn't know when to shut up. Jeez,
well, the nice thing about Alexa,
a
nice thing about Alexa is when I tell her to stop, she actually shuts up.
Oh,
so that is fantastic. We're getting there, Jason. We're getting.
That doesn't work for me. I asked for the weather. She goes, I don't know.
Get up off your ass and go look out the window.
Well, Diane likes to ask, like, I'll get up first on a Saturday. And she'll get up at like around 8:30 and say, "So what's it like outside?" And I'm like, clearly in my pajamas, hair's all fucked up, drinking coffee. I'm like, "Do I even look like I was outside yet?" Look out the window.
Wise guy.
That's Mindy, man. I swear, because I get up and take the dogs out to take a crap, and she's like, "What's it like outside?" I'm like, "It's freezing. Am I fully in my clothes here? I got a parka on. It's cold." So yeah.
Do the neighbors get upset when you take a crap with the dogs?
They don't see me. They can't see me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who cleans that up?
It's cold hanging it out there like that, but I don't mind. You know, I got to save water. We're in California.
I've done it under the deck.
I'm sorry to hear you guys won't be able to come out here, though. It's like me and Diane were really looking forward to seeing you guys again.
No, I would have never heard the end of it.
I should have told you, but we made the decision shortly
out. It's 3 months out, so we just figured.
Okay.
Yeah, we just decided it wouldn't work real well for us anyway. But we better move on with the show.
Yeah,
though, guys. Thank you so much. It was nice chatting with you. We'll get together soon, okay?
All right, take care now.
Have a great show.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye, guys.
And there they go. All right, that's enough. We've had enough fun for one day.
So do you want to talk about your new toy?
The Alexa? No, shut up. As soon as you say her name, she lights up. It's really nice to actually say a woman's name and have her light up. I said it doesn't happen to me that often, but you say her name and she lights right up.
You know what? Thinking of toys, I mentioned I have a new app on my phone.
That's what we should be talking about real quick.
That's the best fucking app I've ever gotten. It's called Robo Killer.
Right.
I saw it featured on Facebook, ironically enough, as much as I'm not on it as often. And it was a news segment. And it's a company in New Jersey. And what they do is you subscribe to it, and it's like $26 for a year. They give you a week free to decide if you like it. My phone has not rung incessantly from stupid spammers and marketers and all that. It's the best.
Do you have a call that we can play?
I just might. I don't see how. Now, the way this will work is you set up bots. It'll keep your phone from ringing. It answers the phone, and then it plays a pre-recorded message to
the people that are trying to talk.
Right, and usually they're marketers. So we meant to bring this up a couple of weeks ago, and then last week I was drunk, according to John. But
if I drank 7 beers, I wouldn't even be able to talk.
Okay. So what happened here? Let me break this down so you don't get lost in the weeds listening to this call. My phone answered, the Robo Killer answers it, and the call started with a pre-recorded message. So The woman's voice that you're going to hear is my bot talking to the robotic pre-recorded message. And then some telemarketer guy gets on, and then towards the end, you hear them going back and forth like, hello, going. So it was pretty funny. So I'm going to put the phone up to my mic, and we're going to let this go right now.
Hello. Thanks for your time. Still wondering why you received a call from Windows Security?
Hello?
Let me tell you. You received a call because we encounter suspicious activities going on with your computer. It seems to be someone is trying to hijack your computer and try to steal your personal credential information. And if it's not fixed right away, your computer will become obsolete.
About what it is.
So please turn on the computer while we are connecting you to our expert.
About what you're about to tell me about, and I have just been tickled pink waiting for your call.
Thank you for calling. How may I help you?
Oh, wait
yes,
now.
ma'am.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Are you telling me what I think you're telling me?
Yeah.
Oh. Really?
Yes.
Oh, wait. Hold on. I don't mean to be rude or interrupt you, but I just need you to wait 1 second. Say what you just said one more time.
And then
they hang up.
Then Ahmad got wise, and he just hung up on it. But it's the best $26 app I've ever bought. Because I would be driving, because I listen to podcasts, I listen to my playlist, and there's nothing more irritating to me. You're chilling out driving, and you're listening to it, and the phone rings, and it's nonsense, or they use phone numbers that are close to your phone number, so you might think it's someone you know,
right?
Because you and a bunch of your friends will have like the same exchange. You're like, oh, well, maybe someone got a new phone or something, and it's always bullshit. It's the best, man. They've blocked something like 18 calls. My phone never rings anymore. If it rings, it's legitimate. It's someone that's on my call list, or it's a legitimate number. So it blocks out like 200,000 known spammers. It's called RoboKiller, and I highly recommend it. It's awesome.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Bring in the knowledge.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All right. What do you say we get out of here?
Oh, okay.
Have you had enough? Have you had enough of me for one day?
It just seems weird. We're getting out of here. It seems like we're getting out of here so early.
It's an hour and 22 minutes recording.
Yeah,
here.
I mean, we're having such a rip-roaring good time.
We are actually having a rip-roaring good time.
Rip-rearing, huh?
Yes, rip-rearing. Fucker.
You're such a diva. All right. If you are looking for some other great independent podcast to check out, we highly recommend these podcasts. The Evening Radio Podcast with Jason and Mindy, part of the Hush Your Face Network, and we'd like to thank them for allowing us to crash through the gates and
cross streams
and go into their show.
Yes.
And you can also hear Jason and Mindy along with Stephanie and David on their podcast, The Difference Between Us.
My favorite two Canadians, Shake My Head with Lisa and Sam. I actually sent them 2 Brand X mugs.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Keep warm in that frozen tundra.
I'm very smitten with them. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that Lisa's married and everything, but, very smitten with the 2 of them.
Okay.
The Canadians. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Very nice. Very friendly, very nice people.
Well, Canadians are notoriously well known for being polite.
I know.
And the bitter Asian man pissed them off. That goes to tell you the caliber of his character.
That's right.
The Unwritable Rant with Juliet Miranda. Hear all of her exploits and explanations involving bourbon and fun.
It's so funny. Ever since I said something to you about their read, you always have something to say about it.
That's right.
So Dave, the producer, I had put a tweet out where I have the Brand X logo that Doug made us from Who's Right made us, and it looks the diva, who he actually makes it look like a whiskey label. And then Dave, the producer, comes on and says, "Hey, you know what? You guys can't talk about bourbon and everything. There's only one podcast." And I'm like, well, okay, I understand that, but we're not really bourbon. We're more like corn liquor. And he's like, well, the mash bill of bourbon is corn. I'm like,
yeah,
no, I don't. I don't know that. What do I know?
I will be corrected, I'm sure. But I believe that it can only be called bourbon if it's made in Bourbon County, Kentucky.
I don't think so.
I think
it's all about the mash bill. I think there's a certain amount of corn, a certain amount of rye, or
that could be it. Because it's like champagne.
Think,
it can only be called champagne if it comes from the Champagne Valley.
Okay.
Anything else is just called sparkling wine.
And I think it has to be aged a certain amount of time. I've listened to
Juliet?
Yes. And the Unwritable Rant. I'm sorry, dude. I don't know what's going on tonight. It's there. I can see it, but it's just not coming out. I'm constipated.
Tequila is the same way. It can't be called tequila unless it's made in tequila,
right?
That area. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyhow, the Unwritable Rant. I've listened to it so much that I've learned so much more about bourbon than I thought I would ever know.
Yeah. Well,
but
bourbon's
again,
fun.
I guess I'm not a big fan of it.
Well, you're not a drinker.
Yeah, I'm not. Married as Fuck with Randall and Brooke. I listened to their last podcast. I'm really enjoying the podcast with those two. Although they talk, you would like this, they talk about The Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah?
And they do a recap of The Walking Dead. I have no idea what that is. I kind of fast forward through that because
it's a TV show, John.
I understand it's a TV show, but I don't know anything about. I don't watch the show, so I don't know anything about it. So I kind of fast forward through that. But it's a really good show. They answer questions. I enjoy it. I think he pulled a hamstring trying to do a split.
Ooh,
he's too big of a guy to do a split.
Well, not only that, we're all getting older.
That's right.
Like,
Besides that, if you do a real good
remember
one,
that time when getting older, we were at Camden County College.
Okay.
And they left a shitload of basketballs out on the court in the basketball crate.
Yes.
And we got the bright idea to start a pickup game of basketball.
Yes.
And at that point, I might have been out of high school about 2 years. Don also, the bitter Asian man. You were out, maybe 1 or 2 years longer. That's it. And we decided to play basketball. We're playing half court.
Right.
I felt like I got the shit knocked out of me. I was like huffing and puffing. I was like, we used to do this all the time. I was like, how did I get so out of shape within 2 years? Because at that point, you're only 20, 21. That's all we were. Man,
I was 26.
Wheezing.
Yeah. I did play basketball a lot longer after I got out of high school.
Yeah.
We used to play all the time after, pickup games. I played racquetball a lot, believe it or not.
Yeah, you and I played racquetball.
Right. At one time.
About that, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
See?
Was
that memorable?
Dude, I'm telling you, there's a lot of potholes in my mind. What do you want from me?
You beat the shit out of me.
Okay.
At racquetball. Yeah. Because I was like, I'd like to try this. I play all the time. All right, let's play.
Okay. So anyhow.
Crush me like a bug.
Yeah. So hope Randall's okay. Hope he didn't pull the hammy too bad.
Mm-hmm. Robin Slim Show with Robin Slim and Sleepy Lucas, part of the Hush Your Face Network.
The Who's Right podcast with Doug and Anthony, part of the Hush Your Face Network.
Was that Diva Doug and Anthony?
Yeah. Diva Doug
in there?
and Anthony.
Yeah, you're going to catch hell for this.
Yeah, thanks to you.
Well, I just like to point these. I'm sure Doug, his ears perked right up when he heard that.
Oh, yeah.
Doug, he's such a diva. That motherfucker.
I called him the other day. He still called me a fucking diva. Fuck that guy.
Penn and Miller Show with Matt Miller and Viva La Pedros is no more. They are rebranding, and the new name is Generation Offended.
Yeah, we're going to have to change that. As soon as they put a show out, we'll change it.
Well, yeah, giving people the heads up.
Right. The Story Behind. I heard that name earlier. With Emily Prokop.
The Horribly Awkward Show with Sean Fuller, part of the Hush Your Face Network.
Toe on the Trigger with Daniel, Mike, and Courtney 3000. He's always getting banned on Facebook.
Yeah, he's out again, I saw.
He was out. We don't know until he said, all of a sudden he shows up, I'm out.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, dude, if there was a 3 strikes rule, you'd be done.
Well, he got out, I think, the day before yesterday.
And then he posts on there.
And he made up for lost time. He had about a stream of 7 or 8
more offensive than the net list.
Yeah, they're awesome.
The one I like is it too soon to ask about job opportunities at YouTube?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Come on. Not that that's not funny, because that shit's funny, but still, that'll get you banned.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you know what? A lot of people don't have a sense of humor about mass shootings anymore.
No, they do not.
Can't make those kind of jokes anymore.
Everyone has a podcast with Adam and Brian.
These two guys, they said that they were having an interview with Britney Spears, but here was an April Fool's joke. Mm-hmm. So I was all excited. But, he had his face, plastered all over social media like they were going to.
Yeah.
Could happen. Bold and Belligerent with Lauren, Josh, Luke, and Adam.
And the Hunan Show with Rocky, BB, Drew, and Josh. Part of the Hush Your Face Network.
Yes. And the Jeff Hurt Show with Jeff and Gary.
If you enjoyed this show, then please do us a favor. I know you want to do us a favor.
Tell
a few friends. Even share this episode on your social media accounts. It's easy to do. We are on these social media platforms. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/BrandXPodcast. On the Twitter at BrandXPodcast. And on Instagram at BrandXPodcast. As if not to put a finer point on it. Just like and or follow us and share us with your friends. We would love it if you would join us in the conversation. You can email us at brandxpod@gmail.com, but you won't.
Nope.
Or you can call in at a Times Yours voicemail at 856-322-2473, but you won't.
Nope.
And leave a message, and we'll feature you in our next Times Yours segment.
Well, we won't.
Right, because you won't call.
Exactly.
Pining away next to the phone. Thank you so much for listening, and come on back next week for another gripping episode of the Brand X Podcast.
Gripping. Will you shut the fuck up so I can end the recording?
That's it. We're just getting into it.